right, girlfriends. So today we're going to dive into a loaded topic here, binge eating. So a lot of questions I get are, Colleen, I can't stop binge eating. Well, we need to know a little bit more in order to understand how to fix that. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk a lot about the two different types of binge eating. Let's break that down. So the first type of binge eating is biological urge to binge. So with this, it means that your body literally needs more food. It's asking for that binge. You restrict food, you're not eating enough, you're dieting, you're counting calories, macros, whatever it might be. But bottom line, you're not giving your body enough energy. You have to give your body enough energy. You have to eat enough throughout the day. When you have these biological urges to binge, it's your body way of saying, I need more energy. So the only way for me to get it is to give you these really, really strong urges to eat a lot of food. I better eat a lot of food at once because I don't know when you're gonna let me eat food again. It sees food as being scarce, so it wants to stock up while it can because it knows that it's going to be restricted again. It thinks that it's literally being starved. It does not know that there's a McDonald's on every corner that has food. It thinks it's in the middle of the desert and there's nothing available. So it's going to give you those really strong urges, those really strong cues to eat a lot of food at once. It wants to prevent that starvation again in the future, and it wants to play catch up from the previous restriction that you've done. That's really one type of binge eating, this biological urge to binge, and that's normal. That is protective. We should be thankful for that. It's going to allow us to have energy to actually live. It's our body's way of saying, okay, I'm gonna prepare for the future because I don't get enough energy. I know that, so what can I do to make sure that I have enough energy? And that binge is what comes into play. The second reason that we binge is for emotional reason. This one is a big one, just as big a one as the binge eating. So I really want you to take a second and think back to your last binge and ask yourself, okay, what was happening around that time? Was I super stressed? Was I anxious? Was I restricting? And that will help to kind of clarify which of these two binges might be the one you're struggling with. With the emotional side of eating, you really want to find a way that you're able to cope with your emotions in a way that's not food. A lot of times, I mean, you come home from a super stressful day at work and you just go to the pantry and you start eating all the pretzels, right? It's kind of like a way to not have to cope with that stress, to not have to cope with your emotions. So we turn to food. Especially as women, we don't really handle our emotions that well a lot because society tells us that these negative emotions, stress, anxiety, frustration, that we try to kind of really shut them down, okay? So we want to portray this view as being perfect, which we all know is total bogus, but we try, and society kind of wants us to portray that image. So we turn to food as a way to not have to actually show that we feel those things. I have a free ebook that you can download that walks you through how to overcome emotional eating, as well as how to overcome that biological urge to binge. So how do you get your body to a nourished state? Both of those questions are answered. I will link to that below. It can be both, okay? You can have a double whammy going on here. You can be restricting and have that biological urge and also the emotion. That's gonna come in hot. So download that guide, which will walk you through how to handle both of those. Now, I also really wanna talk today a second about what is a binge. Because a lot of people tell me, oh, Colleen, I just had a huge binge eating session and they told me they ate a pack of pretzels or something like that. Binge eating is eating an excessively large amount of food, feeling out of control. It is not eating more than you normally do. For instance, when you start to re-nourish your body, of course you're gonna eat more than you usually do. That's normal. Just because you're eating more than you usually do does not mean it's a binge. So it's really important to have that clarification too, because like I said, when you start living with no food rules and you've come from a period of restrictive eating, of course you're gonna eat more food. That's normal, but that doesn't mean it's a binge. I know how tough it is, how out of control, how stressful and frustrating it is, that why can't I just stop? The key is to get to which one of those and then download that guide which will walk you through how to overcome them. All right, guys, that is the two main reasons of why we binge. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you next week with some more no food real goodness so you can learn how to eat intuitively and feel amazing in the process. See you later.